Haris from ABU. Firstly, let me just quickly say this. Malaysians generally just content themselves with sitting in kopitiams and bitching from morning to night. So whilst I may not be in total agreement with all of you, my congratulations. You have stood up, as YB Kitsang says, patriots of this country. I have two questions. Let me put the questions to you first, and this arises from perceptions. It is perceived that Dr. Mahathir is the author of the declaration. Could you confirm if he is or he isn't? And second, is he the principal leader, if that's putting it correctly? And I think for many of us, certainly for me, that is the principal concern. When I first heard of this issue, if I can just give the background very quickly, I approached this looking at it from two perspectives. First, you have the declaration, and then you have the issue of leadership. Now, I spoke 2 weeks ago at a very little forum, and I assumed that this document is not yet cast in stone. You have 35 recitals, and then you have 4 paragraphs with demands, firstly, Najib to go, those who have been complicit with him to go. And then you have, now this was what was troubling, recent legislation and agreements. Now, how recent is recent? Because you talk about recent legislation that is impacting on constitutional rights, fundamental rights. How far back are we going to go? On the matter of the institutional reforms, the language there says such as the, and it mentions 4, PAC, Bank Negara, the police, and MACC. Now, I'm assuming that as far as that is concerned, it's open to be expanded. Now, the concern is simply this. YB Kitsang, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said we do not know how long this is going to take. And it could take us right into GE14. 21st of March, Mukris was quoted in Malaysia Kini as saying, it's about saving UMNO. And in that same article, it was, at least in the article itself, it seemed to be tied with the People's Declaration. Now, it's in that context that we ask, how do we get on this initiative? And I would really love to, all right? But how do we get on this initiative if Mahathir is leading it? It's a different thing if he's just one of many who is joining patriots. But if he's the leading light, I cannot forget, yes, I have not suffered like many of you, but I cannot forget that between 1987 and 2016, the drama is the same. If Najib has sacked the AG, Mahathir sacked Tun Saleh. Muhyiddin got sacked, he sacked Anwar. Both of them, the same drama in order to save their political careers. So I'd be grateful if I could get the answers to those two questions. Thank you.
I'd like to answer your questions. Let me just go to the technical bits first. When you asked about recent legislation and agreements, we should go as far back as we need to, Haris, because you know that there's a lot of legislation, even from previous times, that require amendments. So, yeah. Well, the reason it was put as recent was the more immediate ones. I think that requires immediate change. All the things that they're bringing in now. And the one, I suppose, that is really stark would be the Sedition Act changes and the NSC. Those are the immediate things that we need to do something about. So that's, that's something that we can always look at, right? The other thing you asked was about PAC, BNM, MACC are the examples. Yes, it's open, yeah, when we're talking about that. The other thing you mentioned was the question of the principal leader. There's no doubt that it was started by Dr. Mahathir. As far as I'm concerned, we are all equals sitting at that table, all of us. We're all there as citizens, we're all equals, and we're carrying on with our own thing. And I can tell you, you have to have faith. We will never give up our reform agenda. We will not stay there if the reform agenda is not thought of seriously, you know, and we're no pushover, our lot who are there. We're no pushover, but we don't want to be alone. We want all of you on board as well, because that's what speaks, you see. At the end of the day, what really counts are the numbers that we can get together. So as far as I'm concerned, and to be fair to Tun Mahathir, I think he was asked that question at that first session, and he said, and he was asked, are you the lady? He said, no, we are all equal. We're all here as citizens. That's how we all feel about that. And for me, what we're doing now is we're all organizing our own individual activities, actually. And we're just pushing ahead. Maria, myself, Cynthia, and I know that the others, Datuk Khairin, all are carrying on their own activities all over the place because we're trying to actually build the momentum. So in that sense, we're all leading in our own way to get the numbers on board. So rest assured, Haris, there's no, you know what I mean? As far as that is concerned, I don't think you should have too much of a concern. On the issue of Mukriz and so on, talking about Barisan, you must understand this, and you must be realistic as well. This is a temporary alliance. Come GE13, we're going to be on opposite sides again, okay? DAP is going to be with Pakatan Harapan, and Barisan Nasional will carry on. We will be on opposite sides. All those people sitting at that table signing will be on opposite sides when GE13 comes. 14. We want to make sure GE14 does come. That's the reason we're sitting at that table, because one of the concerns is we may not have a general election. So I think be realistic. Overnight, you can't expect people to just ditch their parties and their alliance, you know, their political alliances. No. I think what is important is to focus on the goal.